My name is Howard Fornoy, and I have just murdered my brother. But before you call me a monster, listen to my story. If, that is, there's anyone left to hear it. I could be the last man on Earth.
I've seen the world, done it all, had my cake now. Diamonds brilliant and brilliant now. Hot summer nights, mid-July, when you and I were forever wild. The crazy days, city lights, the way you'd play with me like a child. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I got nothing but my aching soul? I know you will, I know you will, I know that you will. Will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful? I've seen the world, lit it up as my stage now.
I don't think that any writer has ever been in my situation. No, that's not true. I know that no writer ever has. But that isn't important. I mean, it is, but anyone reading this knows why. I hope that there is indeed someone out there left to read this. I'm dying, and the rest of the world is already dead, including Bobby. Every parent hopes for a kid like me, and every parent dreams for a kid like Bobby. The thing is, no one ever really expects to actually get one like Bobby. Bobby was exceptional. I remember one time, Bobby somehow got himself on every radio frequency in our neighborhood for about 3 hours. So, for about 3 hours, no one could hear anything besides my kid brother broadcasting whatever he felt like saying. My dad was madder than ever, probably since my parents had to pay a $400 fine to the radio station for Bobby's little prank. I, however, thought it was funnier than anything, and I think that my parents found it funny on some level too. One thing you need to know about Bobby is this. He was smart. Extremely smart. I mean, I'm no fool either, but every now and then someone like Bobby comes along and destroys all expectations. Every now and then, a guy like Bobby comes along and tries to end the whole mess. In Bobby's case, he did. But was he really trying to? I don't think so. The only thing that I think I ever truly beat Bobby at, besides getting out of diapers faster, was writing. I'm an author, as you've probably guessed, and I like to think that I'm fairly good, if not great. Bobby was good too, but he could never focus on one thing, and writing wasn't an exception for him. He wrote stories when he was younger, but he had to stop because his handwriting wasn't on par with his mind. He'd get frustrated, and so he started to get headaches. The doctor told my parents it was just stress, and so Bobby then moved on to other things. The best way I can describe Bobby is like this. He was a compass needle spinning endlessly around, trying hopelessly to find a north. But, eventually, he did indeed find one. Bobby found his north in our very own neighborhood. My family lived in a small town called La Plata, and in an even smaller neighborhood. Right down the street from the house I both grew up in, and will die in, was and still is a lake. My brother's body's in that lake now, just like his soul was for the past few years. One day, at this very lake, Bobby asked me why people were so damn mean. I told him I didn't know, and that maybe it was because of original sin. He believed me at first, but later, once he discovered his cure, Bobby told me he no longer had any faith. I too now laugh at the idea of original sin, because of everything that's happened, I can hardly believe that there's a God out there. And if there is one, how could he be so cruel as to allow an entire world to die? Me saying that probably means I'm going to the hell if it really exists, but I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, I'm already there.
That there's any kind of an effort up there yet.
Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on.
Bobby saw war and violence in the world. I mean, we all did, but he saw it most clearly. He looked at things like the Holocaust and 9/11 like they were the only things that people knew. And for some people, he was right. Bobby, being the genius and philosopher that he was, set out to cure the most uncurable of all diseases, human nature. How did he do this? Well, he didn't. But what he tried to do was not use his own moral center and his own nature, but just nature itself. Plain old fresh air and H2O. Bobby disappeared for a while after he graduated from college. My parents and I didn't see him for about 4 years until he showed up on my front door about a year ago now. When Bobby showed up at my house that night, he had 3 large jars in his arms. Each jar had either bees or wasps in it, and I'll be the first to admit I was terrified. But after exchanging some hugs and how-you-doings, Bobby told me a bit about what he'd been up to. He'd spent some time abroad, and he'd worked in a lot of labs, and now he was ready to show the world what he had done. Starting with me. After telling me stories that I don't have the time to tell you, Bobby unscrewed the tops of the jars. He then took out a small syringe and squeezed 2 drops of liquid from the syringe in each of the jars. Then, much to my horror, he flipped over each jar, and I had both bees and wasps flying lazily around my living room. Of course, none of them stung us, because of what Bobby had given them. As we sat there, surrounded by enough flying poison to kill either of us instantly, Bobby told me what he had done. Bobby told me that he had spent hours looking over the lake in La Plata when we were kids. He told me that it had always looked so peaceful to him, and he couldn't understand why we went the same way. And every time he looked at the lake, the old phrase came to him,
there must be something in the water. And so, during the time that he spent abroad, Bobby used freshwater lakes as his guide to salvation. I don't know the exact science of it, and if I did, I wouldn't have the time to tell you anyway. But somehow, Bobby had managed to create a serum that, when inhaled, injected, drank, reduced the aggressive attitude of any living thing on Earth, including wasps, bees, and of course, us humans. It sounds great on paper, doesn't it? No wars, no... It's happening. Bobby's serum has finally hit me. My mouth is suddenly dry, as if I've been talking for hours. Here's the thing, friends and neighbors. I don't think there's anyone left to talk to. Not anymore. Bobby came to me because he wanted me to help him spread his cure, and because he knew exactly how to do it. I tried to protest, tell him that he couldn't and didn't know the long-term effects, but he didn't listen. Instead, he told me that if we didn't do something soon, humanity was going to destroy itself. Keep it together, Howard, and then we didn't have time to think about the long term, because there wasn't a long term, Bow Wow. Bow Wow. Bobby used to call me that when we were kids, and hearing him say it again for the first time in years broke me. Anyways, it looks like he was right. There was no long term, and everyone's dead. Except for me, and I have the honor of telling the future what it was that killed the past. Bobby had been tracking a volcano for the past few years, and so he knew when it was next bound to erupt. It was going to be a large eruption, and he planned on using it to spread his serum throughout the world, polluting it with his idea of a utopia. Forgive me if I sound bitter, and forgive me if I seem to be rushing. I'm running out of time. I can feel it. Well, for about 3 months, everything worked out fine. There were 3 months of a perfect Indian summer. No fighting, no mass murders, and no more wars. All official combatants lowered their arms. Even boxing and wrestling matches ended. Kids quit running around with toy guns. It was a great time to be alive. But then, everything went to hell. And fast. People would start to talk and write funny, and forget things. Their mouths would go suddenly dry. It would take about an hour, and then they were dead. It's happening to me. I can feel it. Bobby called me about 2 hours ago and told me to come to my parents' house. They were dead, he said. They died pissing and raving as he tried to take care of them. We had been being careful, all of us. But Bobby's magic potion spread too far, too fast. Once he dropped the capsule in the volcano, and it erupted, sending it into the atmosphere, there was no way anyone could escape. No one in the world knew about it. All they had, some more than others, was time. A little bit of time. We've been being careful. All of us. About 2 hours ago, Bobby was still saying, He called me and he said, help me, Bow Wow. I killed the world and made it full of fools, and now Mom and Dad dead, and I don't know what. Stop! Keep yourself together, Howard. Almost done. Bobby was still sane when he told me all this, but now I'm not, and I'm going crazy. I go home and Mom and Dad are buried in the backyard. Bobby had dry mouth. He asked me to shoot him, and I did. I didn't want to, but now I'm writing this, and I'm losing my mind. Bobby told me, I'm sorry, Bow Wow. I made the world full of a bunch of silly fools. I'm so sorry, Bow Wow. Please stop. If I can just hold on. It's okay, Bobby. I don't blame you. It's not your fault. I helped. Oh, God, Bobby. I'm sorry. I love you. Please. Mommy, Daddy, I'm dying. The whole world's dead. Bobby's dead. I killed him.